Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Black Ops 6. Today we have a ton of news to go over because Treyarch posted a new podcast, and in there they gave us a bunch of reveals and a bunch of information in regards to Black Ops 6. But before we get into that, I must say that I was wrong about the Black Ops 6 multiplayer maps. Last week, or maybe a bit further back than that, I posted a video where they initially gave us all the mini-map overlays for the Black Ops 6 multiplayer maps. What I did was I lined up the grids on all those maps to make them all relatively the same size, and then from there I was trying to figure out exactly how big these maps were going to be, and the results were pretty flawed overall, because I went into that with the assumption, and I said that many times in the video, that the grid marks were actually accurate, that they actually represented something, that they meant something like they did in previous Call of Duty titles. Well, it turns out that was wrong. Those grid marks had nothing to do with anything. They were there just to simply look tactical. And Exclusive Ace posted a video up where he went through and measured the maps themselves by using the meters that you have in the game when you spawn in, and it shows you how far away you are from an objective. And then from there, he's able to calculate the size of the various maps that we're going to have in Black Ops 6. And here is a much more accurate representation of the sizes of the Black Ops 6 multiplayer maps in comparison to Nuketown and Raid. Long story short, the maps are a bit larger overall than initially I anticipated, but they're still pretty small. What we can do here is we can take Ace's Nuketown and compare it to all the different sizes of the various maps, and Derelict, for example, basically Nuketown size, Skyline, basically Nuketown size, Payback, Babylon, both way smaller than Nuketown. You know, just here's Nuketown overlaid with these different maps. Overall, the maps are going to be a bit bigger than I anticipated, but they are still pretty small in the grand scheme of things, and it will be interesting to see what it's going to be like when we have the full launch of Black Ops 6 and how those multiplayer maps are going to feel and what things are going to be like, because in general, the game is going to have pretty small maps and they're going to be very fast-paced. And speaking of that, today they revealed Nuketown, because it wouldn't be a Black Ops game without Nuketown. It looks like they're going back to the original theme and the original vibe of the map itself, which I think is fine. Some people want them to reimagine the map in one way or another. Of course, we saw Nuketown 84, which I thought was pretty cool. The Black Ops 4 version, which was like a Russian Nuketown, was interesting. Nuketown 2025, we had Nuketown with a 3 back in Black Ops 3. There's always been a different version of Nuketown, whereas now they're just going back to the classic, the original feel. For me personally, I am a-okay with that. Some people dislike it. Feel free to let me know about that down there in the comments. But the big thing that I see a lot of people talking about is, isn't Nuketown already in the game? They already revealed Nuketown essentially, right? It was called Warhead. Well, that's not quite Nuketown. So what they're doing here is Warhead is going to be a different Nuketown. As you can see, the original Nuketowns there in the background. This Nuketown, which was made at Area 99, which is going to be the new Warzone map, was on its way to be set up in the desert, but it got hit by a test or something like that, and then the truck crashed off the side of the road, and all the components of a Nuketown ended up in the desert, and now they're all in different places, and of course the sand is taking over, and this is meant to be one of those 2v2 strike maps that can also be played in 6v6. So it's going to have a lot of the same set pieces as Nuketown, but it's not meant to be Nuketown. It's just kind of an interesting twist on Nuketown itself, while adding to the Nuketown lore of Area 99 and all the different testing sites that they had out there in the desert, which I honestly think is okay. But again, we're going to have some pretty small maps already in Black Ops 6. Now, Nuketown is going to be coming out on November 1st, exactly 7 days after the launch of the game. So there's going to be 17 maps for us to play when it's all said and done before we even get up to Season 1. Now, on top of that, we got some more news about the Black Ops 6 multiplayer. There's a bunch of zombies news as well, which I think I'll be covering in a separate video. But when it comes to multiplayer, it was revealed via the official COD pod, which is what they're calling their official Call of Duty podcast. You can find that over on their YouTube channel. In there, they revealed today that Black Ops 6 will not have weekly challenges similar to Modern Warfare 3, which is really unfortunate. They did say that they're working on something really cool for seasonal challenges. Seasonal challenges will be a thing, but the weekly updates that we saw with Modern Warfare 3 are not going to be in Black Ops 6, which I think is them really missing the mark. One of the best things about Modern Warfare 3 would be the weekly updates, the weekly challenges, having those seasonal camos to grind for, while also getting aftermarket parts, which fundamentally change up how weapons work and thus change up the game by, in essence, adding a whole new weapon into the game. It's just another example, and it's so frustrating how when a Call of Duty game comes up with a great idea, for some reason, they don't just take that idea and say, you know what, that is such a good idea, it's going to be in every COD moving forward. Instead, they just scrap it, essentially, because every single COD title is something that's being worked on for years in advance, and while Sledgehammer Games may have been working on aftermarket parts and weekly updates and things like that before, none of the other studios apparently caught wind of that or thought it was a good enough idea to start implementing it for their game. Sledgehammer Games absolutely killed it when it came to the aftermarket parts and the weekly updates. That is something that should be in every single Call of Duty title, but apparently that was never in the works for Black Ops 6 for one reason or another, and who knows, it might be another 2 or 3 years years before we get a proper Call of Duty title that returns to that kind of a system, which is so ridiculously frustrating. That's another thing about the COD cycle that I'm just not a fan of whatsoever. Just with them always releasing a game every year, and every year it's made by a different developer, and these games are made years in advance. They always say 4 years, you know, for Black Ops 6. Because of that, when somebody comes up with a really good idea, it doesn't get implemented into the next game. They're trying to make every single COD title feel more connected. You know, it's all Call of Duty HQ. When you went from Modern Warfare 2 to Modern Warfare 3, you were able to carry forward your weapons and your camos and your operators and all that. They're trying to make everything feel connected, while at the same time, everything feels so separated. And I think there is something to be said about Black Ops 6 being a completely fresh start. We do know that your weapon XP tokens and your double XP tokens, for example, from Modern Warfare 3 will not be carrying forward into Black Ops 6. They're making the game feel completely fresh, completely unique. It's its own standalone thing. That's fine. But there are certain aspects of the Call of Duty franchise that should be part of every single game. Something like Prestige Mode should be in every single game. Something like 100%er and the Dark Matter grind, that should be in every single game. And what Sledgehammer Games did this past year with their weekly challenges and the aftermarket parts, that should also be in every single Call of Duty game. So to hear that's not going to be a thing this year is really disappointing. Again, they do say that the team is hard at work on something very cool in terms of rewards for seasonal challenges, so perhaps they're going to try to up their game a little bit when it comes to that, but not having the same system from Modern Warfare 3 is going to feel really bad. Hopefully Prestige Mode can kind of help us forget about it almost, because we're going to be prestiging and prestige challenges are going to be there with the themed prestiges and everything, so maybe that will feel good. But it's weird, right? Like Call of Duty, this game that's supposed to be kind of like the same thing every single year, you get used to a certain feature or a certain system and then suddenly they take it away from you. There's no way it's not going to feel bad at launch. There's absolutely no way. But Nuketown is returning. We're not going to have weekly challenges. They did say that because the game is going to be launching in late October, that they do want to kind of tie into Halloween a little bit. So Infected is going to be coming out right after the game launches pretty much, and a bunch of other party modes are going to be there as well, which will feel pretty good. It seems like party modes are kind of hit or miss in the COD franchise anymore. Some games really support party modes and fun things for you to do, whereas other games, they wait until like Season 4 to finally start adding some of that stuff to the game, you know, like Gun Game, for example. Like, oh, we're just not going to add Gun Game. People don't like Gun Game anymore. Or Infected, they'll put it out for a little bit and then take it away, then put it back for a little bit. It's weird how they've been handling party modes in the COD franchise, but it looks like with Black Ops 6, they do plan on party modes being a big feature in the game, which is good because, again, normal Prestige is back. It will feel good just to go in and jump in there and go play Infected and level up in Prestige and do challenges and things like that. So Black Ops 6, it's getting pretty close, guys. We're about 2 weeks away from the time of this video being recorded and posted, and I imagine over the course of the coming days, we're going to be getting even more information, so stay tuned and be sure to subscribe if you guys are new around here, because I'll be posting everything in regards to Black Ops 6 as we get closer to the official launch. But for right now, that's it for this video here today. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. Leave your thoughts and feedback down there in the comments. Thank you all so much for listening, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.